The Pentagon, for over a decade, has also warned about climate
Yes,
change,
good
about it
point.
causing, I mean, displacement. Also, there's such a fixation on immigration in this country and elsewhere. A lot of the refugee crises around the world are caused by climate change. Certain areas are just unsustainable, and it's forcing people to move, and it's causing these cultural and economic conflicts. So I think there's a lot of meat on the bone there, and but also worth mentioning, the fossil fuel industry has had internal studies noting that they contribute to climate change since the 1970s. They buried them until the early 2000s, but they themselves also know this. So it's not some like liberal hoax conspiracy that was created in like 2012 during the Obama years or something. Like,
No.
this is known by the Pentagon are not hippies. The fossil fuel industry is not anti-fossil fuel. I mean, this is known all around. I think that's important to remember as well, because it often gets treated as like some political football that one side thinks it exists and the other doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's because, of course, we had Vice President Al Gore come out and talk about it, and so they were able to label it as a political stunt. But to your point, this is the same that we knew when we found out about cigarettes. It turns out that the cigarette industry knew about it for years and just didn't want to link cigarette usage to being a carcinogen because they were too busy making money killing us. It's the same as they didn't want us to know about leaded gas. Every time that there is an unleaded gas, every time there is something that endangers the public and people are making a lot of money on, it seems like we're willing to support it as long as people are making a lot of money off of it. What frightens me about this particular decision, and it's, look, he took us out of the Paris Accords. We knew where this was going, but the blind stupidity of this is another one to me that we've made a political football that should not be a political football. And to stretch that analogy, I think Americans live in a convenient fiction, a fiction convenient for them. Hell, for the love of God, we call it football. We don't use our feet, and it isn't a ball. So we live in our own fictional world, and this one is going to come back to bite us in the ass. Not in my lifetime, not in yours, but in our children and grandchildren. And I'm tired of watching members of Congress walk in with a ball of ice in their hand, going, "Climate change, global warming doesn't exist." It's a complete misunderstanding of what climate change causes. The extreme weather conditions that we're seeing across the U.S. with stronger storms, stronger hurricanes, stronger rain, stronger snow, uh, greater heat, all is a byproduct of global, and I'm going to say it, global warming. And it's because it is that brought about by greenhouse gases that cause the problem.
And there's another connection here to Greenland as well, which is, the United States has the ability to commodify anything, and fighting climate change had its own markets. Like, if you just recycle, if you just plant a garden, but climate change is not going to be solved at the individual level. It's going to take a global effort. And the Paris Accords were not perfect, far from it. They were criticized by folks like me who are concerned about climate change for not going far enough, but they're a million times better than where we are now, because now we've alienated ourselves from the global community that we're going to need to work with if you actually want to take on climate change. And that's another thing. This fight over Greenland has further exacerbated these divisions with other countries that we're going to need if we ever decide to take climate change seriously.